Alright, hello again everybody. This is Brad with the Guitologist, and in today's video I have something a bit unusual. I um, don't do much modern equipment anyway, and I don't do many pedals either. And I don't think I've ever done a video with a repair of a pedal. So this should be unusual. This is a twin tube classic by Seymour Duncan. Um, a watcher of the channel, a longtime fan and commenter, sent me this to be repaired, and we're going to see what we can do with it. Apparently, inside there are some real miniature tubes that are board soldered. The 6021, I believe, is the tube designation. And apparently, these things are real tiny, real fiddly, and they're soldered directly to the boards. So let's see what we can do. I just unpacked this thing, so I don't even know what's in it. Here we go. Here's what they look like. So basically what you have to do is you have to run your wires through the holes, you have to desolder everything, run your wires through, and they end up being on the board themselves, the tube does. So we're going to crack this thing open. We're going to desolder the old tubes, resolder some new ones. We're going to make sure there's nothing loose or nothing, obviously defective while we're in there. And if that sounds like something you'd like to stick around and watch, please do so. All right, first things first, we're going to get into this thing, and in order to do so, it looks like there's just 4 screws here on the bottom, so we'll remove those. All right, here we are inside this unit, and you can see here are the tubes right over here. Looks like there's a little guard that we need to remove to get to them. And it actually looks like they are soldered on top of the board here, which is interesting. What we're going to try to do, you can see how they have these in here. Here's the tube, and we have a bunch of insulation on all these wires. So what I'm going to try to do is actually make notes, I think one by one, of the pin numbers and where they go. It looks like maybe they're in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Yeah, they're in order from 1 to 8. So that makes things a little bit easy. 1 over here, 8 over here. So we'll keep that in mind as we go forward here, but we need to remove this screw to remove this shield. So let's go ahead and do that. And this shield probably also holds those tubes down and keeps them from rattling around, I would imagine. And it looks like there's a bit of adhesive on the other side of this little shield. Maybe it's not adhesive, it's just a little rubbery thing that keeps the tube probably from going microphonic. But the customer complained and said that he thinks these tubes are already going microphonic, so we're just going to swap them out. Actually, come to think of it, I'm just going to clip these out of here. There's no sense in trying to desolder them. I'm just going to clip them out one by one. Alright, here are the old tubes out of the unit, and it looks like each of these has a date code of 52nd week of 1986, and they're both labeled Jan Phillips tubes. So we'll give those back to the customer. Well, there's one of them, and it's in there, but it's not pretty. I may clean up the solder just a little bit and clip the extra length off a couple of those leads, but I mean, there it is. It's in there. We've got one more to go. Well, there they both are, and that was about the most fiddliest operation I think I've ever I've ever been party to. Um, I'm gonna plug this thing in, put some power to it, and just see what it does. We'll probably leave it open here so we can take a look at the tubes firing up and all that. That might be pretty cool. Um, we'll see what it sounds like, just kind of roughly, and see if there are any microphonics in the tubes. Hopefully, I'm praying there aren't any microphonics in these tubes, or that one of them's not bad, or DOA. So let's do that. Let's check them out. All right, this thing comes with a wall wart to plug it in, and it's 16 volts, 600 milliamps output, which is about what this thing calls for. 16 volt, 540 milliamps, what it's calling for. So let's plug it in, get some signal through it. Before we plug it in, we can take a look there real quickly, and you can see that the filaments inside are glowing. So I at least know I wired that part correctly. Let's kill this light. Maybe I might be able to see it better. There we go. So we do have some glowing filaments. I don't know if this thing turns on and off on the top of the unit or not. I really didn't pay much attention. I'm going to flip this thing over, put this phone down, flip it over. Okay, there is an on-off switch on this thing. There's an on position, like an on/bypass button, but when you press it, it definitely doesn't turn the, maybe it turns the high voltage off to the plates of the tubes, I don't know, but it definitely is not turning the filaments off. It's not affecting any of that, which I guess it makes sense, because you wouldn't want your filaments to be cold in the middle of a song when you switch the thing on. So, but that might be something to think about if you have one of these units. Just unplug the power when you're not using it to make sure that you're not just wearing out these tubes unnecessarily. I only had this thing on for a couple minutes and unplugged it, and damn if these things aren't hot. So these little suckers run red hot. You could probably even feel it, I would imagine, just touching the top of the chassis over on that side. But yeah, these little suckers get hot and quick. Let's see what this says. 412.515 revision. Seymour Duncan research. Got a couple integrated circuits up here. Transformer or something of some kind there. Well, that's interesting. 115 volts input, and the output's 9 volts, 18 volts. This thing's got several capacitors in it. If there's any kind of noise, I will suspect those electrolytics. I don't know how old this unit is. I know those tubes were from, what, 86, 87? I don't know how old, when they made these units. I'm sure they're, it's younger than that, but But yeah, if we get any noise, I'm definitely going to suspect some of these electrolytics, especially these larger ones, next. So let's put a signal through it. Okay, we got this thing hooked up. I've got a guitar running into it, and the output's running to my badass little KBA 15 custom amplifier here. So there, that output obviously does work. Let's turn that down. This is our rhythm channel with gain and volume. The lead channel has a volume and a gain as well. Now let's turn everything down to begin with. And we'll leave our bass and treble straight up. Let's turn it on. And start with the gain. These pots are a little bit scratchy. This gain, see if we can make it break up. So yeah, that's a Seymour Duncan classic, twin tube classic. Actually, you know, I think if I played around with this thing, I could probably come to like that gain channel. That sounds really, really good. It's really creamy sort of distortion, if that's your thing. Definitely sounds like it would be good for, you know, some harder rock licks, lead stuff like that. So yeah, but I think the customer is actually using it as just a clean boost into the front of one of his amplifiers. So yeah, we'll get this packaged up and get it back to him and see how it goes. But thanks for watching, you guys, and if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button below, and we will see you all later.
No, this is Showbiz Pizza. Yeah, you don't remember Showbiz?
Look at how their hands
It's
falling
Billy
off.
Bob. They have seen better days.